Hello and welcome everyone. We will begin this webinar in about 4 minutes. So we'll just wait for others to log in and get cozy, get a nice drink, and we'll tune in again in about 3-4 minutes here. Thanks so much. There we go. Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar here with myself. My name is Irene Pauline. I will introduce myself in the upcoming slides. Looks like if there's a little bit of a lag, I might end up shutting off my camera, but I will continue on this way. We'll take care of some housekeeping before we begin on the presentation time together. So this session is being recorded. So if you need to step away at any time, you will get a copy of this in your inbox. And for those of you that might be watching this later, thank you for your time, of course, for participating live or watching this at a later time. You stick around for the whole session because there is a special offer for you as well. And if any questions come up, feel free to just type away in the chat questions box there. As I'm speaking, type away your questions. I don't want you to forget them, and I will save some time for at the very end. And I'm always happy to hang around later to answer any one-on-one, maybe specific questions in regards to your own health. I am here to help you and provide a little bit more insight into resting and digesting. So thank you again for joining. And yes, this is a very important topic. We are going to be covering a lot of different information. It's brought to you and hosted by Living Alchemy. So I will further introduce them. So let's jump right into the presentation. We've got a lot of information to cover here. So before I introduce myself, I want to check in with you. How are you doing, both mentally and physically? How are you feeling? How's the brain health going? Are you feeling focused and concentrated? Are you a little distracted right now? Are you comfortable? Please get into a comfortable state. If you need to use the washroom, use the washroom. Get yourself a warm drink to really be able to focus here. And maybe you're suffering from hormonal imbalances, or maybe it's anxiety, Or maybe you're here because you want to learn more about solutions for gut health. So maybe you're experiencing gas and bloating, or diarrhea, constipation, something like that, or just low energy, trouble sleeping. That's very common right now, or skin irritations might be coming up. And so this is where everyone is so different with how stress rises in the body and what the symptoms that appear, and how that appear is very specific to each one of us. So this is where tuning in to how you're feeling mentally and physically is very important, so we can be able to find the right solution for you here. And so we're going to be talking about the importance of resting and digesting. So the agenda today, we're going to talk about stressors and how they're different for everybody, and then learn what stress does to the body and the signs of stress and how they're shown differently in each one of us. We're going to learn about different herbs that can help you combat stress, which include adaptogen herbs and what they are and how they can help. We'll talk about fermented herbs and fermented whole foods, how they can further reset your digestive system, enhance a further rest as well. And then plus we'll give some extra stress-free tips, which we all might be needing right now. So thank you again for joining. I appreciate your time. Your time is invaluable, and tuning into something like this only allows you to have that knowledge to be able to further advance if it's your health or physically or mentally. And this is where I'm very proud to be here to be speaking to you. I am a cancer survivor. It's actually 11 years this month. Yeah, so how I got into this realm of things is, well, it was through a cancer diagnosis at a young age. And that's where I, yes, went through conventional treatment as well as holistic medicine. And that's where I really explored every medium there is in holistic medicine to make it complementary to my protocol and what would work for me. And so that's what I believe in. And sometimes we need support from outside sources to help get us there. So I further got my education as a certified nutritional practitioner, where I work online with clients, very happy to assist them in their health journey, as well as I work with Living Alchemy, and I am the manager of education and marketing with Living Alchemy. And I'm proud to be working with this company because this is exactly the company I went out headhunted to select, and found that this is everything and more in supplements that you can be able to give yourself and only enhance your day-to-day. So that's why I'm very, very proud to be speaking to you about Living Alchemy as well. I do want to share that everything I speak to, everything that's in the document, is for informational purposes. So of course, no one knows you best but yourself and your healthcare professional team. So please do consult them if you're changing any dosing, any medication, any treatments, anything like that. You want to consult your healthcare team on that. And an introduction with Living Alchemy. So who is Living Alchemy? Maybe this is the first time you're learning about Living Alchemy. Maybe you've already tried our products and you found out about this event on our social media or our newsletter. If so, thank you for following along and being interested here. So Living Alchemy is a fermented organic whole food supplement line. It's a high-end supplement line that provides therapeutic nutrients that give you effective results. And so this is what's really important, is that our customers notice the difference. And that is why I'm so proud to be working for a company like this and provide these health solutions to people. I'll get more into what makes us so unique, like our fermentation process. That's really cool. And then also a little bit more about the company is that we are based in Vancouver, BC, actually Richmond, BC, which is about 15 kilometers south of Vancouver. So we're in the West Coast. And yeah, we work with our natural health retailers and online, livingalchemy.ca across Canada, as well as across the US as well. So we're proud to be supporting North America. All of our products are USDA certified organic, non-GMO, project verified, vegan, gluten-free, no fillers, no isolates. And so this is where clean supplementation is so important. When you're experiencing a health condition, or maybe it's just an irritation that's appearing or inflammation that's appearing, you don't want it to spiral out of control, but you need to make sure that the solution you're giving yourself is a clean solution. So we'll be talking more about how Living Alchemy provides really clean and effective supplements for you. this is the whole ferment family. I say that because all the products are fermented using a living culture that we'll get into. But these are some of the supplements that you might see on the shelves or online. That I'll be speaking to a few of these to provide some suggestions for further rest and digesting. But before I do, how I like to do these presentations is to further give you, a top-level insight about understanding what might be happening in the body, in your body at this time. And so understanding stress. It's been ongoing. There's been a lot of it. It's ever changing and stress is rising. And so I do want to let you know that stress is a normal reaction in the body. It always has been. Unfortunately, over the past, it's on high alert. And it's more frequent than it may have been in the past. And so this is where our body responds differently to stress. So it can be physically, maybe it's low energy or skin irritation, or maybe it's mentally where we can't focus or we are not motivated like we used to be. Or maybe it's emotionally where we're not feeling supported or we're feeling lonely or unloved or whatever it may be. So that stress appears in different ways. And external and internal stressors can affect this body's response. So it can be maybe the root cause being a parasite that's causing the stress. So that's internal stress that's happening. Or it may be an external stress like homeschooling and lockdowns and all of the other sorts that's affecting our body. And so how we react, how our body is burdened can be through our gut flora, our sleep patterns can be off, our liver can be overtaxed. And this is where these are external stressors that our body might not even be able to recognize, like or our mind may not be able to recognize, like the toxins or allergies that might be coming up and say our water, as I say that, or in the air, or in air quality, or in the paint in our office. Different toxins can build up further burdens in our body that then causes more stress. Excuse me. All right, we've got some more people joining. That's excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining. And I just want to let you know, for those that are joining, if you have any questions, please just type away in the questions chat box. And I am happy to answer those at the end of this session. Don't forget your question, write it down in the questions chat box, and I will definitely answer it at the end of this session. Thanks for joining, and I will continue on here. This session is being recorded, so you can always reference it later if you need to. So stressors on the body, it puts pressure on different systems in the body that we're going to be talking about. So our digestive health, our immune health, the nervous system, our endocrine system, which is our hormonal reproductive system. And this feedback gets stuck. It's a feedback loop of what stress can do to the body, and it can get stuck and out of balance. And this is where further burdens happen to the body. This is where maybe tissue inflammation happens. Maybe now you're getting a back pain. Maybe there's absorption of the greens or the whole foods that you think you're eating a good diet, but you're not absorbing properly. And this could be stress that's further further affecting the system. And so this is where that stress cycle continues, and this communication within the body can break down and chronic inflammation can begin. And then the cycle increases. And this is what we want to prevent. Perhaps some of us are already at this stage, and this is where we want to reverse, help to provide some aid, some relief, some support to the body when it's going through this. And this is what's really important. So our first effects with stress and how our body deals with that is that it's our nervous system that's firstly impacted. So there's the parasympathetic nervous system and then the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic is that fight and flight. This is what a lot of us have been operating in for the past 2 years, maybe even more so, depending on what else is going on in life right now. And so this is where that fight and flight, we're operating in this system more so than we should be. In our ancestral ways, it was to obtain food or to run away from an animal prey, or if it was, kind of dealing with external stressors. But now there's so many external stressors and internal that are coming up. So we're operating in fight and flight, which is inhibiting everything from our way that we breathe, our way that we digest, our way that we eliminate, even to the point of our libido on a day-to-day basis. And so this is where we want to work to be in the rest and digest stage. And this is where we need to be operating in 95% of the time. If we can, 80 to 90 is a great ratio. And this is where we can be able to focus. This is where we can be able to make very concrete decisions and feel confident and feel loved and feel cared for. And so being able to calm the nervous system, being able to find solutions that can help relax and boost the spirits is what's really important. It will help with boosting your digestion, boosting your libido, boosting your overall absorption of nutrients. And so this is where we are going to work to get to. And a little bit more about the stress cycle is that this is that negative feedback loop. It's called the HPA axis. So that's the hypothalamus and pituitary, both located in the brain, followed by the adrenal cortex, which is above the kidneys. And so when we're affected by this stress, external or internal, this is where that negative feedback loop keeps cycling. And it keeps putting pressure on our brain, all the way to our kidneys, that's then affecting our nervous system to keep overreacting and keep being in this fight and flight stage. In this fight and flight stage, this is where we're all different. It will affect us differently when we're in fight and flight. Maybe you lose your bowels. Maybe your heart rate increases. It varies, all the different symptoms and what that looks like for everyone. But this is what the stress cycle is doing to our nervous system, our brain health. Like I said, our stress hormone, stress is a normal natural progression, and that's cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. This is what is supposed to normally rise in the morning and then decline in the evening. If you follow my mouse here. So this is where stress is normal. Stress hormone, cortisol, is supposed to rise and decline. And then melatonin, which is your sleepy hormone, that's supposed to increase in the evening so that you can fall into a nice slumber. And however, that is where things have changed, and our cortisol's on high and it's on red alert consistently. And this is what is impacting all those different systems in our body where we're not digesting, where we're not relaxing. And so this is concerning. This is what we don't want to see in the long term. And so this is what we want to prevent. This slide is not meant to stress you out more. It's just really to showcase how stressors affect different systems in the body. And it can be, the nervous system that we talked about, or it can be immune system with inflammation, allergies, pain, endocrine system with everything from fertility to adrenals to thyroid, metabolism. And so this is what we want to work to help to control those stressors and how our body reacts to them. And then you might have heard of the brain and gut axis. This is really important on helping us rest and digest. And that gut and brain connection is connected by the longest nerve in our nervous system, which is the vagus nerve. I like to think about this as a highway delivering messages to and from. And this is where it's important to be taking care of our gut health to be benefiting our brain health, giving it the right nutrients, allowing the right microbes to survive and thrive, so that our brain health, which also has a microbiome of itself, which is more science is showing how the brain microbiome needs to be further enhanced, and we do that through our gut microbiome. And this is something that we're going to work on in optimizing our digestive health. So let's look at some solutions for helping to calm stress. Of course, we can't eliminate it, but we can help our bodies react to it. And so adaptogen herbs, maybe you haven't heard of this term before, but I will introduce it to you, or for some of you might already know about it. I'll just give you a refresher. So adaptogen herbs, they're rooted in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, which is from India. Adaptogen herbs, they're plants, and they help to stabilize our psychological processes, including physical, chemical, biological. So they help our body resist stress. So here we go. Here's a great solution for our bodies to be supported in those times of stress. So they promote homeostasis. What is homeostasis? This is what our body's always trying to achieve. 24/7 on overtime, working on overtime a lot these days, isn't it? And so our body's trying to achieve homeostasis, which is this balance. Of course, everyone's balance looks different, but there's that healthy range, and that healthy range is different per person. But what is normal is that stress levels will rise and they will decline, but as long as they stay in that healthy range for us, because there is good and there is bad stress, but our body doesn't recognize good and bad. So excitement, overexcitement, can also sometimes be impairing if we're always operating in that high, vibrating, overexciting kind of life presence. This is where we want to stay in a very balanced and in very healthy stage. And so this is where we want to help calm our nervous system, calm our cortisol stress levels. And we do this by staying in that, in the homeostasis, which will provide solutions here. But what I want to show you is what's important is that it's not a consistent line. It has tolerable limits. So it's normal for us to go into the red zone, which is the disease stage. But what's important is that we're getting out of that. So say if you are noticing gas and bloating, or back pain, and it's been 2 weeks, maybe now it's 3 months, maybe now it's 6 months. Well, what's important is that you're not then seeing more symptoms come up, maybe constipation, or maybe heartburn, or maybe further irritations to the body, because that's your body telling you that something is off. And now you're operating in the disease state, in the red zone, for a longer period of time, where inflammation is building and it is causing impairment in other systems of the body. So maybe it's that the chart I showed you with, it might be with the endocrine system or with the nervous system or the immune system. So it's imperative that we help to manage our stress levels, so we don't consistently operate in the disease state where inflammation continues to rise. And yes, so I think it's important that you know this so that you can tune in a little bit more about what symptoms are coming up and how I can help my body. And this is where adaptogen herbs can help, because as we are trying to achieve homeostasis on a daily basis, we have different stimulus coming in, causing an imbalance. Well, an adaptogen herb helps to protect the receptor. And then that's where it allows our reaction to that stress to be different. And that's where that response to change is maybe where you don't get as overly excited or as angry or as moody when something happens, and we're finding we're more in a calm setting, and that we are able to make a decision and maybe not overreact. And so this is where adaptogen herbs are a great solution to help bring that body into homeostasis. Of course, there are other things that we'll be looking at too as we go along, but I do want to touch on a few adaptogen herbs. So Rhodiola, I will be speaking more about this one and how it helps to physically help our recovery and our performance. So energy levels is what Rhodiola is for. Holy basil is really that calming Zen-like feeling. And then that's not drowsy. I'll get into that one, the holy basil. And then ashwagandha, you might have heard of this. This is very popular. This is working on the adrenals, just bringing whole body balance and harmony. And then some other adaptogens you might see on the market are things like maca, ginseng, cordyceps mushrooms. So these are all considered adaptogen herbs. So what's important about looking at adaptogen herbs that are on the market is that you want to look at respecting and valuing the plant as a whole. So what I believe in as a practitioner with Living Alchemy, what I cherish with this is that the whole plant is used. So they're utilizing all of ashwagandha or all of turmeric. You might have heard of curcumin. Curcumin is an isolate derived from turmeric root. We would naturally eat turmeric. We sprinkle turmeric on our food. We put that in our dishes. We don't eat curcumin. And so the body can naturally recognize the whole of turmeric, the whole of ashwagandha. And so this is what's really important, because you're respecting the whole plant. You're getting all the important cofactors. And then utilizing fermentation. Fermentation is able to activate the plant to make it in a superior form. I like to think of it as cabbage versus sauerkraut. So we know cabbage has a great nutritional profile. Well, we know sauerkraut has a completely different profile that is further enhanced, and you're getting all the beneficial microbes. So these are some things to incorporate into our diet to further enhance our vitality. And so I like this quote by John Muir: when we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it is hitched to everything else in the universe. And this is where I encourage utilizing whole foods and whole herbs, and looking at, I don't like to say diet, but when I say diet, I mean lifestyle. Looking at a lifestyle that is of natural whole sources, and not of mystery ingredients or labels, that words that you can't read. And so this is where the importance of the whole is what our body recognizes. Our body recognizes food. And so giving your body food, if it's through supplements, as long as it's whole food and it's absorbable, that is what's key. And that it's clean, of course. So today's problem, well, we know there's many, but just speaking to this topic, is that how can we improve on nature to create therapies that are truly naturopathic and effective, and particularly in this age of complex diseases that are coming up. And so this is where Living Alchemy has fermented whole food supplements that give you the whole. And this is everything from the bioavailable vitamins, minerals, enzymes, polyphenols, which are potent antioxidants required for healing, short-chain fatty acids, which are postbiotics. So lots of benefits in one capsule. And there's no fillers or additives or flavors or nothing that would only cause more issues. That's not what you want to be doing when you're taking supplements. So the potential benefits of fermentation. So I'm speaking to both fermented whole food supplements, but also fermented foods. You want to look at incorporating more fermented foods because they're highly absorbable to our cells, and they actually allow action to be created. So they are able to read metabolic pathways to enhance them so that our body can respond. And so this is where fermented foods, incorporating more sauerkraut that I've mentioned, I'll mention a few other in the next slides here. And yes, they deliver a variety of activated antioxidants. Enzymes are in there. Bioavailability increases, so it helps with digestion and absorption. So the fermented foods are great for assisting with digestion. And fermented foods, it's superfoods turned into superfoods. And this is something that goes back to our ancestral culture all around the world. And this is where fermented foods were used, yes, for preservation because they didn't have refrigerators and electricity, but also it was used in ceremony and in medicine, and it provides that healing solution. And so traditionally in Africa and the Americas, coffee and cacao was fermented. And then in Asia, we have soy, fermented soy, that is so beneficial and healing to the gut, that I'll be speaking more about, like miso, tempeh, natto. So these are all available at your traditional grocery stores. You can find tempeh there, natto, miso, I promise you. It might just, you might just have to ask, or you might just have to search a little bit more, but they are definitely available. You might have heard of maca. That's a great adaptogen herb as well, and that comes from Peru, and maca grows in the ground, and it's not something you can dig out of the ground and bite into like a carrot. It's traditionally fermented. And then in Africa, we have baobab, which is this beautiful, strong tree that promotes fertility and energy and libido. And this fruit is fermented. And then in Europe, we've got milk, kefir. We got milk, yogurt, and kefir. And while the difference is the duration of fermentation and the less amount of sugar. Milk, yogurt has a high amount of sugar, while kefir has a great probiotic benefits, natural probiotics. And this is where I encourage you to give a try. Kefir, it's at every conventional grocery store, and there's a lot of different flavors if you want. I encourage you to, add in your own fruit. That goes the same with yogurt. If you are choosing yogurt, buying plain and unsweetened if you can, and then topping it with your favorite berries or honey or maple syrup and nuts and that type of thing. And so exploring the different aisles of the grocery store as much as possible. I always say looking for foods that are under 3 ingredients, max 5. I like to just keep it to 1 if you can. Just make sure you can pronounce all of them, you know what all of them are, and keeping it back to whole foods. And then we've got grapes, grape juice, and wine. Well, the duration of fermentation is longer with wine, and then with red wine, you're seeing resveratrol, which is a potent antioxidant that only comes from fermented grapes. So this is where fermented foods are beneficial. Not telling you to drink more wine. I'm just saying red wine is a good choice in moderation, of course. So looking at Living Alchemy's therapeutic fermentation and why these supplements are so absorbable and effective, and this is because they use a living culture fermentation. So like I've mentioned, Kefir, which are water-based Kefir grains. You might have heard it as Kefir, some people say, in traditional and European culture as Kefir. And Kefir water-based grains are fermenting with a kombucha SCOBY. So maybe you've seen kombucha out on the market, kombucha drinks. Maybe you've seen what the SCOBY looks like. It kind of looks like a raw chicken breast almost. It has nothing to do with any animals. But there are a lot of living microorganisms that are so beneficial for our health, both in the kombucha and in the Kefir. And so this is the living culture that's fermenting the turmeric root in Living Alchemy supplement, or the ashwagandha, or the holy basil leaves, the whole of the leaf or the whole of the root. And so this is fermenting for a small batch. It's a traditional fermentation, and this is where it's made with diverse strains of therapeutic microorganisms. So this is fermented food for your body. Your body recognizes food, and this isn't in a supplement form, believe it or not. And this is where it's no fillers, no binders, nothing like that. It's even freeze-dried, which is just like a cold-pressed juice. It means no high heat and removes all water and moisture so that all the microbes can stay alive and all the nutrients are still intact and alive. So when you take that capsule, it is all still potent and effective. And that's all that's in the Living Alchemy products, and that goes for all the products. They're all fermented using Kefir and kombucha. And no isolates, no flavors, and no mega dosing. It keeps it very clean. With that said, what it's providing is this bioactivated, highly energetic nutritional complexes that the body can intuitively recognize and utilize to maximum therapeutic effect. This is where you're noticing the difference with Living Alchemy. I hear it from our customers all the time. I've noticed the difference myself, our staff members, and so I'd love to hear your feedback if you do get a chance to try it, or maybe you already have, so please type away in the chat box. I'd love to hear any feedback on Living Alchemy supplements. And if you have any questions, I see more people have been joining, so that's awesome. Just type away if you've got any questions here, and I'll get to them at the end of our session. So let's look at solutions to balance stress, time to rest. So we're going to look at Adaptogen Herbs as in supplement form, so you don't have to, bite into the whole turmeric root or the ashwagandha and be cooking and all of that with it all the time. And let's get into what is ashwagandha. I've been mentioning it. Maybe you've heard about it. It is very popular. It's kind of the rising herb of 2020, 2021, and looks like 2022 as well. Ashwagandha is a traditional herb in Ayurvedic medicine. It's one of the world's oldest holistic healing philosophies. It's dated back more than 3,000 years ago in India. And the traditional belief of Ayurvedic medicine is that balance between mind, body, and spirit using natural therapies. And today we've adapted it in a lot of conventional medicines and in alternative medicine. So this is where different herbs like ashwagandha, turmeric is also part of Ayurvedic medicine. So more of these herbs are becoming well known. Ashwagandha, why is this one so popular? Well, because the list is long of all the benefits. As you can see here, it's anti-inflammatory. It really provides that nourishment and rejuvenation to the body, and that's why I love ashwagandha, and many people do. the benefits. It helps with focus, concentration. It helps to protect the body to the body's response to stress. So what I've talked to you about how adaptogens work, that's what ashwagandha does. It calms our nervous system and helps to balance our immune health. Notice I say balance our immune health and not boost our immune health, because we don't want to be overstimulating our immune system all the time because it's working on high. So we want to balance our immune health. And then it further helps with everything from libido, fertility, hormonal balancing. And this is when you're working to manage stress, you see benefits. You see benefits with your sex drive. You see benefits with your mood and your spirits. And so this is where I always do, when I work with clients, I always talk about stress levels. What is it that's impacting your stress levels? How is stress showing up in your body? Further research about ashwagandha and our nervous system and how it affects our cognitive health. It helps to reduce brain cell degeneration and improves memory loss, provides protection and modulation of cognitive diseases. So there's all third-party research on this. Check it out yourself. And that's all about ashwagandha on improving our cognitive health. So it's also great for seniors as well. Students, I'd be recommending this one too. So Living Alchemy has it's an award-winning ashwagandha. You can tell, 2019, 2020 been winning awards for this one. And this is what's in it. It's the fermented ashwagandha. This allows that potency and that high absorption. And you're getting all the important cofactors, including unfermented ashwagandha in here, because both you need cabbage and you need sauerkraut. You're not just going to eat a whole sauerkraut diet. So you want the benefits of both. And then bacopa is another herb that helps with brain health. And then turmeric. I love the turmeric's in here because when stress rises, inflammation rises. So we want to make sure we're in that blue healthy range and not in that red zone. And so that's where turmeric really helps. The dose is 1 to 3 capsules. You take it as you need it. On a daily basis, if you're experiencing, you're going through something. And many people just taking it, 2 a day is a good place to start, is what I'm suggesting. So who would be taking this? And it's people that are in a high stress, maybe work environment or a high stress home environment. It kind of lists everyone almost: parents, students, seniors, homeowners, pet owners, all the said, whatever the stressors that might be coming up, ashwagandha can help manage our reaction to that. And it's not a drastic feeling. It's not an instant as well. It's something that you want to take at first over time to make sure that you're seeing the benefits. And I'm going to carry on here with some other solutions. So with ashwagandha, if your mental stress is on high and your physical stress is on high, this is when I'd be taking ashwagandha. So you're getting it, from, kind of both ends there, with stress just being tossed at you. You're tired and mentally and physically. So rhodiola, I might have heard of this one. It is people in Russia and Scandinavian countries originally used this. It was also used by warriors and Vikings. Today it's used by astronauts as well. And it helps to prevent fatigue in different time zones, in different altitudes as well. And it really helps with our energy levels, our stamina, fatigue levels. It helps with immune, our brain health. So there's a ton of benefits to rhodiola. Where I also like this formula is that we add astragalus. Astragalus is another adaptogen herb, and this one also is beneficial to our immune system. So rhodiola gives you that energy boost, and then astragalus gives you that immune system balancing. So it's nourishing to the immune system. And then turmeric, which is also, very important here. And note that it's turmeric and not curcumin, because we want to keep with using the whole of the ingredient. Same dose here, 1 to 3 capsules. I say start with 2. If you're having a bad day, really sluggish, take another one. If you're feeling great and you haven't taken any yet and you don't need to, then that's fine. I just suggest don't take it about 4 hours before bedtime, rhodiola specifically, or maybe on shift work. But whenever you go to sleep, don't take it 4 hours before that, because it does give you that stamina. It's not like a caffeine jolt. It's not like a high or anything like that. It's a steady flow of energy. And that's where I say stamina. So try not to take about minimum 4 hours. I'd probably say even longer if you can. But mornings or afternoons, depending on what your hours are like. And then we've got some research about rhodiola and the anti-fatigue and exercise stress benefits. And this is a study done with mice that consumed fermented rhodiola and then an unfermented extract of rhodiola. And then there was a control group. Don't worry, none of the mice were harmed. If anything, the mice that got the fermented rhodiola just got to swim faster. And that's what it showed, is that it was 100% more effective in anti-fatigue effects when using the fermented rhodiola versus a unfermented extract of rhodiola. Furthermore, during exercise lactate, our body increases this as a source of fuel to prevent fatigue. And then also glycogen, we tap into glycogen stores to help with further endurance. So fermented rhodiola shows great benefits with helping our body recover from stress and then further allowing our body to tap into energy stores so that we can go longer and harder. So if you're looking for doing some training, maybe it's CrossFit or marathons or trail running, or you're just looking to further enhance your day-to-day activity, this is where rhodiola is a great one to introduce into your day-to-day regime to get your physical activity out. Maybe, like many of us, January, we want to kickstart our exercise, but we're feeling sluggish from the holidays. So look for rhodiola to give you that boost of energy to get you back into your exercise regime, as well as help with recovery time and help you, maybe do an extra 15 minutes or something like that of your exercise regime. So that's where I'd be suggesting rhodiola. As you can see, we've got Rhodiola Rico, as I like to call him. He's a Paralympic cyclist and hand cyclist, and he says it provides me with more energy, faster recovery. I started it 3 weeks ago, and I'm on my way to the Pan Am Games in August 2019 in Peru. And then he reached out to me and let me know what he placed, and he's placed third in hand cycling best time, and he finished fourth in hand cycling road race, which is outstanding. And he wanted me to mention that he's 58 years old. He competes against 25 to 35-year-olds, and he's in a different weight class than them as well. And so that's where those results are outstanding. Of course, practice and hard work and dedication, but rhodiola also just help with that recovery and that further endurance. So it's a great one to incorporate for that physical performance. If your physical stress levels are on high and you need, your battery is on overdrive and you need some support, look for rhodiola. And then holy basil, another adaptogen herb. This one is known as Tulsi. Maybe you've had Tulsi tea before, holy basil tea. Well, this is in a supplement form by Living Alchemy. And this herb, I like to say it creates zen, and it helps you lower your cortisol levels. So remember that chart I showed you where the red cortisol is running all day long? Well, this is going to help relax that. And so this is where it's a potent antioxidant. It helps with mental clarity and focus. Lots of other benefits to holy basil as well, with free radical damage and inflammation. This is where holy basil is the holy one. And I love this because lemon balm's in here. Lemon balm's also calming to the nervous system. And this is one where, I've got, some slides on lemon balm. Just want to respect the time here. So lemon balm helps with stress, helps with anxiety and insomnia. So it's going to help with sleep, help with our nervous system to relax. And holy basil. So this is my favorite adaptogen. I love holy basil because it helps me to unwind and kind of have that balance between working from home and home life. And so, at the end of the day, I'll take my holy basil to help me unwind as I go into my yoga or my meditation session, where I'm trying to calm my nervous system to, from overreacting from all the screens and all the stressors and all the deadlines and everything. This is where taking holy basil to help unwind lifts the spirits, helps to lower the cortisol levels, promotes relaxation. I like to take this one, and I've heard it before, instead of that glass of wine to relax, using something like holy basil is a great one for calming. Of course, it's not a drowsy, nothing like that. It's not an intoxicating feeling, so I really shouldn't be relating it that way. But it's that feeling that it's calming, and that's what a lot of us are looking for, support in that way. Some people I know also take it for sleep. So taking the 3 capsules, because the dose is 1 to 3, taking it before bedtime, maybe with your magnesium tea or your chamomile tea or something like that, taking the holy basil with that is only going to further allow the body to prepare for a slumber and allow melatonin, your sleepy hormone, to naturally increase. Instead of supplementing with melatonin, which I prefer to use herbs to help enhance your natural melatonin levels, to help promote rest. And yes, so holy basil, that natural chill pill. This is the one that when your mental stress is on high, so maybe you're finding your frequency is vibrating at a very high level even during the day. It's great to be taking holy basil during the day if you need to. It's not gonna, make you sleepy. I would just say spacing it out, taking one, and then maybe if you need another one in 2 hours, go for it if you need it. So this is just a summary slide to let you know which one is for who. So rhodiola, just reiterating, that one's for that physical performance if you want to enhance that. Holy basil's for that calming, that zen, improves rest levels and sleep levels. And then ashwagandha is that maybe you're like, I need it all. I need to help with the physical and the mental stress. Choose ashwagandha. Start there. And time to digest. So solutions to help with the stress digestion. So with Living Alchemy, we have a Your Flora Symbiotic series, and this is really more than just probiotics. They include prebiotics, enzymes, and nutrients. And this is going to help provide fermented food for your gut microbes to survive and thrive. And this is what the Your Flora Symbiotics are able to provide. They all have the medicinal ingredient in here, as well as herbs that help your condition. So if your body's telling you you've got gas and bloating, well, that's where you choose comfort. Perhaps it is constipation, you'd choose Regenesis. Or if it is diarrhea, you'd choose Terrain. So the herbs are complementary to your symptoms. And this is where I, asked you at the start, is what is your digestion like? What is your physical health like? Are you seeing skin irritations? Are you seeing gas and bloated? This is where your Flora Symbiotics can help with that, providing whole food and organic solution. And the symbiotic approach is the fermented foods. Fermented foods are symbiotic because they are, it's the intimate relationship of different organisms living and evolving in harmony within the ecosystem to benefit one another. And that's what fermented foods are, and especially your Flora Symbiotics, because you've got the Kefir and the Kombucha microorganisms that are fermented with the different ingredients here. Excuse me. All right, so the difference of your Flora Symbiotics versus conventional probiotics. Maybe you're already taking some probiotics, or maybe you're thinking about it. You want to know how your Flora Symbiotics are different. Well, they are all organic whole food, so only whole food can be certified organic, and that is where your Flora Symbiotics are plant-based. They're not laboratory made. They're not. They're conventional probiotics are specific strains grown to achieve certain numbers of CFU counts, to achieve the bacteria numbers, and then it dictates your own flora. So it's certain strains that dictate your own flora. Well, your Flora Symbiotics, we believe in encouraging your own flora, enhancing the ecosystem naturally by providing fermented foods to feed your microbes, to allow them to thrive and enhance that ecosystem. So overall health, digestive health can be improved. And when digestion's improved, well, it improves the brain and gut connection. It's going to improve the nervous system. And that's where you're going to see relief in different ways. If it's brain fog being eliminated, if it's skin irritations, because that's very much connected to digestion as well. But I digress. This is the difference of your Flora Symbiotics versus conventional probiotics. Check out Living Alchemy's blog. There's a new blog on this one if you want to get more into the granular about the differences. So I encourage you to check that one out. So let's get into the solution, because that's what you all want to hear, right? So your Flora Sensitive. All of your Flora Symbiotics include Kefir soy, which is fermented non-GMO organic soybean. It's fermented is very different than unfermented, which I will get into in the next few slides. And then we include peppermint and lemon balm. So both calming to the digestive tract as well as the nervous system. So this is for anyone that's experiencing IBS mixed, if it's constipation or diarrhea, back and forth. Excuse me. If you're finding that you are that when you're stressed, your stomach tenses, that you get cramping, that maybe you lose your bowels, maybe you get constipated, maybe you're binge eating, or you're losing your appetite. And so this is where the brain and gut is greatly effective, and you're more maybe of that sensitive soul. And so this is where it impairs your digestive health. And so I like this product because the peppermint and lemon balm work on calming the nervous system, which your flora sensitive can allow your digestion to be optimized. And so this is what's really a great one to be using when you're under a lot of stress. Your digestive health is under a lot of stress as well. And so that's kind of what I just talked about, who it's for. And it's very cooling to the digestive tract as well. Anyone experiencing food sensitivities, I suggest you to be taking this as well. Excuse me, sorry, it's becoming the end of my day and I've had a few meetings and talks, so I'm gonna take another sip. All right, I do want to highlight the medicinal ingredient that's in all of your flora products, and that's Kefir soy. This is the Kefir Kombucha fermented soybean. So this is non-GMO organic soy. It's sourced from Europe, so it's of the cleanest sourcing. And why do we use fermented soy? It's the difference of tofu versus tempeh. I like to explain it. So tempeh, you're seeing the whole bean still intact, and you're seeing the kind of like that gel like substance connecting each bean. Well, that's what it's doing to your intestines. It's allowing your junctions in your intestines to tighten and to connect, so it prevents something like leaky gut or digestive irritations or inflammation. And so that's what fermented soy does, which is very different than tofu, right? You're seeing its process, and there isn't much substance to it. And that's where I'm suggesting fermented soy, including tempeh, including more of that in your diet. Miso, natto, these are all fermented soy products, which are very beneficial. They include all the amino acids that allow give your intestinal lining protein building blocks to be further enhanced. This is also includes naturally occurring L-glutamine, which is an amino acid that helps to boost your immune cell health, because your immune cell health lives in your gut lining as well. You've probably heard that, I'm sure, in the past few years here. And then also why I love using the fermented soy is because there's bioavailable polyphenols. Polyphenols are antioxidants that only come from plants. And so when they're fermented, they're in their activated state, so our body can naturally absorb them and then utilize them. And so that's providing healing to the intestines. And so when you're in any digestive impairment, this is where Kefir soy is going to be so beneficial to improving the gut ecosystem, rebuilding the intestinal lining, enhancing your gut flora, and that's what all of your Fluorosymbiotics do. And you can see with further research, which I encourage you to check out Living Alchemy's website, it identifies fermented soy versus unfermented soy, and how fermented soy has 4 times higher antioxidant potential. Furthermore, it talks about how the IgA response is significantly increased with Kefir soy when compared to a probiotic group or a control group. So a control group, a group not using any probiotics or microorganisms to enhance their gut health. And you're seeing the Kefir soy, the group that didn't use that, after 21 days shown a greatest increase in IgA. IgA is critical for our healthy immune system. This is where 80–90% of our immune health lives in our gut. This is why it's important to be taking a probiotic, and I'm going to say a symbiotic more so, because you're getting the complete profile in your Fluorosymbiotic. And it's all natural whole foods. This is an in vivo study, so I just want to note that, but it's a high dose amount of the medicinal ingredient that after 30 days, you're seeing regeneration happen of the intestinal lining. So this is the before, and then this is the after. So intestinal regeneration happening. You're seeing the villi and the microvilli. These are the fingers where the microbes live, where the absorption happens. You're seeing that greatly increase. And the microvilli and villi can regrow. And when you're giving the right ecosystem, and that's what's happening when utilizing a high amount of the Kefir soy. High amount, so we have a professional product. This would be equivalent to your Flora Professional. So just trigger warning, in case you're eating dinner, the next slide is a colon slide. This is where it's equivalent to 4 capsules of that Your Flora Professional, the higher dose of the Kefir soy. This is where you're seeing the before and after of the benefits of what Kefir soy can do to the intestinal lining. And this is someone in a severe state, a young gentleman actually, ulcerative colitis in the colon. And so now seeing that before and after, just after 6 months, taking 4 caps of just the Kefir soy, Your Flora Professional, you're seeing huge results. And this is where I'm saying they're effective and they work. And so this is where I encourage you that if you're suffering, if it's minor or whatever may be, looking at introducing something like this, of course, under the guidance of your healthcare professional, if you're going through anything. But I just wanted to showcase before and after, because that's important to see the difference if possible. And then I did mention many of us are going through gas and bloating, more of that. And so this is where your Flora Comfort would be the one you want to choose. It's fast acting, it's long lasting, it's got chamomile and fennel in it. It's a great one to take before, after you eat, whenever you remember, or maybe just when you're experiencing the gas and bloating. And so that's a great one. And it comes in a large size or this regular 60 capsule size. That's still going to help repair the intestinal lining, but it's just targeted to relieve gas and bloating immediately. So that brings you some solutions for digestion. Let's get into that holistic living and what balancing your lifestyle. So these are maybe some of us have big goals or resolutions or whatever you want to call them, lifestyle changes. And this is where it's about creating a balanced lifestyle, including more body movement and mind relaxation. And this should be the ongoing goal, challenge that we're probably trying to achieve. But it's incorporating more balance into our day, because we do have an overactive, we're overstimulated, we're overworked, and this is where our nervous system is impaired. And when our nervous system's impaired, we're in that fight and flight, like I talked about at the start of this session, and then it impairs all these different systems and organs in the body, and then it just continues to be a downward spiral. And we want to catch it before it's a downward spiral. So ways to help calm our nervous system, to create more ease in our day, is to move our bodies. So I encourage a minimum of 30 minutes of movement a day. And if it, is even incorporating more taking the stairs instead of the elevator, if it's walking the dog instead of putting the dog in the backyard, if it is, whatever that movement brings you peace, it doesn't need to be running for hours, or it's where you feel your best in, providing that your body's giving that more movement in a day-to-day basis. You don't want to overstimulate the system if you're already in a very, if your health is already impaired, because that will cause more inflammation. So that's where I'm saying start with 30 minutes. Increase as if you're having a good day, increase it. If you need a rest day, that's okay too. Not being so hard on ourselves. That's more of that mindfulness and awareness that practice we should be trying to practice as much as possible. But giving our mind that relaxation and not being so hard on ourselves, and giving our mind at least 30 minutes of peace and quiet a day. If that's, locking yourself in the washroom, or maybe you can incorporate you going on a walk by yourself, and now it's a 1 hour of movement, the 30 minutes movement plus the 30 minutes of quiet time to yourself, or journaling, or bath time, or yoga, wherever you can find peace and quiet, whatever it looks like for you. That's what's important. Doing what you love. It doesn't have to be doing what your neighbor loves. And so incorporating more of that. And then, of course, 8 glasses of water. I keep track. You can probably notice all these elastic bands. That's how I keep track of how many glasses I'm drinking. And I say about, all these are approximate because it depends on your lifestyle, your activity, your body weight. the amount of time you're sleeping, what you're eating. And so I just say it's a good ballpark range is about 8 glasses of water. And then about 8 hours of sleep, because sleep is so important. When sleep is out of whack, this is where we have to start with resolving it. And helping stress levels is will make a big impact. How we deal with stress during the day you'll see the benefits in your sleep quality and quantity, perhaps even increase too. And so approximately 8, once again, depends on our lifestyle and our age and etc. But so that's just, I'm sure we all know this, but we all need reminders. I know I do too. And so it's all about that balance. It's about keeping our healthy within our range, because it's different for everybody, and keeping that body, mind, and spirit connected. And so that's what brings you your healthy. So I hope you found some insight for this session. I appreciate your time and I thank you so much. Don't log off just yet, because there is a promotion and contact information I want to share. If you want to reach out for anything at all, please do. My contact information is there, Living Alchemy, and social media. Connect with us however you please. Thank you again for your time. And as a thank you, Living Alchemy, I've actually made a daily planner that you can download. I forgot I included this. So this is only for the live session. For those of you that are joining right now, under handouts, there is a download. And so just press on that PDF document. You can download it. It is a daily planner. You can print it at home. And this is what's going to help you kind of keep track and be a little bit more mindful and aware of, did you take your vitamins? What was your bowel movement like? These things are important to our day-to-day health. And maybe we don't want to be talking about it, but it's something that this is, personal to us. We can track our water intake on here, our caffeine intake, our alcohol intake. Have a little note section of what our morning ritual looks like, or our nighttime ritual. So it's a really fun daily planner that hopefully you find a little useful. So you can download that. And then lastly, here's the special promotion that I promised. 20% off of any and all of Living Alchemy products for 1 week. So until next Thursday. So please use the Rest Digest 20, all in caps, no spaces. That's the promo code. Use that on livingalchemy.ca or on livingalchemy.com. So if you're in Canada.ca, you want to use .com for anyone in the States. And use the promo code Rest Digest 20 on any of the Living Alchemy products. What I talked about today as a recap, I talked about the Alive, and that is Rhodiola, holy basil, ashwagandha. We also have turmeric there, so if you need to stock up on turmeric, give our Fermented a try, or milk thistle, which is very popular right now with cleansing and detoxing and skin and liver health. And then the Your Flora line that I talked about, I spoke to Your Flora Comfort for gas and bloating, and I spoke to Sensitive for the IBS, and for brain and gut connection. And then Herbal Synergy, I didn't touch base on any of these, but you might already know of them because Defense has won a ton of awards. It's very popular for immune support. So I encourage you to check out that. And then we have other ones for cognition, like Wisdom, Energy, like Warrior. So there's something for everybody. I hope you see the value. I hope you get to try the products, and I hope you feel the difference. And I hope you've learned something here with overall, that you've learned something here with me. And I thank you again for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you want to type, I'm happy to hang around. But thank you again. And you will get an email in your inbox in about an hour with the replay and the promo code. So thank you. And take care. Stay well, stay strong, stay happy and healthy, and reach out if you need anything at all. So if there's any questions, now's your time to type, and I will hang out to answer any of them. I don't see anything right now,